No Mo Salah, but why captaining Erling Haaland could lead to an awesome opportunity. Welcome to the Gianni YouTube show. Hope you guys are well. You've enjoyed the international break. I haven't. I am ready for FPL again, and we are about to go into the busy festive season. In today's show, we're going to see my team. I'm going to show you what transfer I'm making, what my forward plans are to get Mo Salah in a couple of weeks. Also, we're going to talk captaincy. That's a big one this week, and look at premiums to own over the festive period. So loads coming up. If you're enjoying the show so far, please do hit those buttons. I would love a like. I'd love a subscribe, but more importantly, I'd love a comment. I'll respond to all comments in this video, so do get your comments dropping nice and early with your FPL questions. So look, without further ado, let's have a look at my bus team, shall we? This is how I am set up before any transfers. I've got a bit of a benching headache as well, and it starts in goal. Sells or Fabianski, that both I think are going to lose their clean sheets fairly early on, right? Both got tough fixtures. Fabianski goes to Newcastle, Sells goes to Arsenal. At the moment, I've got Fabianski in, but that could very easily swap. I'm a bit 50-50 here. The bookmakers have them both 12% likely to keep a clean sheet. Yeah. So who's going to get the most save points? Do I think more likely to get a clean sheet? I think Fabianski edges it slightly for clean sheet odds in my head, but maybe Sells for the save point. So one to consider there. At the back, we've got Trent, who, look, flagged. Trent needs to be sold. We'll talk more about Trent in a minute. Gabriel and Rico Lewis. I do have Mykolenko on my bench. Now, he could come in, of course, for Rico Lewis. That's a bit of that's a difficult one. I've got Greaves on the bench there as well with Tyler Dibbling. In midfield, Palmer and Burmo. Palmer has trained for Chelsea. I think both those guys will be fine. Great to be on Bruno nice and early. He got me big points last time out. And then we've got Rodgers in there as well, who keeps delivering for his price point. Like, arguably the best budget midfielder in the game, alongside Semenyo. And then up front, it's Haaland. Currently the armband's on him. It's Solanke and it's Cunha, who got 12 points last time out. So happy with the bus team, but transfers have to be made. And there are two players that I look at in this team and go, I'm happy to sell them straight away. Now, I'm only going to be selling one because I currently have one free transfer and 0.2 million in the bank. So is that transfer a Trent transfer, or is that transfer a Solanke transfer? I think this week it's going to be Trent. Solanke versus City, I'm not hopeful, but I think I just have to chuck him in there. The reason these transfers really matter this week is because they look into my long-term plan. And my long-term plan is to own Mo Salah. But how do I get Mo Salah and when? Well, many would look at this team and go, you can easily get Salah in 2 moves, you sell Erling Haaland. Guys, I don't want to sell Erling Haaland. Now, let me just show you a sort of big hitter chart for the festive period. If you saw my YouTube video earlier in the week, you would have seen this chart. But this just shows, one, the fixtures the big hitters have got, Salah, Haaland, Palmer, Saka, Bruno, and the Spurs guys, but also the mid-week fixtures they have. Now, there are Premier League midweek rounds in 14 and in 18. But the likes of Salah have Champions League and EFL Cup to contend with as well, before 13, before 16, and before 17. Haaland has 1 midweek off because he's not in the EFL Cup. And Cole Palmer has 3 midweeks off because he's not playing in Chelsea's European group stages and he isn't in the EFL Cup. But players like Salah and Saka and Bruno, a ton of games. So sure, I think the entry point in Gameweek 12 for Salah is perfect now, if you can get to him easily. I can't. It requires selling Haaland. I don't want to do that. I think when we look at the fixtures from 15 onwards, we want Haaland back in our teams. Have a plan, I think, to get him back in if you don't own him, and many of you now won't own him. My plan is to get Salah by 14. Definitely by 15, but more likely 14 because I own Bruno. And when we see Bruno's fixtures next couple, Ipswich and Everton, Bruno can become Mo Salah for me in 14 when Bruno plays Arsenal, then Forest, then City. Yeah, I'm fine selling him. So if I'm selling him for those 3, he can become Mo Salah. To do that, I need money. So how do I find the 5-ish million? Well, let's go back to my team. We find it by getting money out of Trent and money out of Solanke. So I feel like they have to be my next 2 transfers, right? But before I tell you about which one I'm prioritising and who I'm buying, let me give a shout out to OneFootball. Guys, you all have football apps on your phone, right? Many of you will use football apps for your football news and for your live scores and possibly for things like team news and video clips. Well, OneFootball does all of those things better than everyone else, I think. Football news, they're always first. Results and scores, they're brilliant. Live video clips off the back of goals going in, it's an excellent resource to have on your home screen on your phone. Like way before they've been sponsoring my YouTube vids, OneFootball has lived on my home screen. So give it a download. It's free, obviously, and it's brilliant. Not just for Premier League, but all the other leagues too. I use it for Champions League. I use it for Serie A. Let's go back then to my team. So what's my long-term plan? Should we talk... I've given you the Salah plan, right? I think we should talk about the plans, I guess, in terms of who I'm replacing Trent with. Because I think Trent needs to go. 1, because he's flagged. 2, he's a lot of money. And 3, there's a lot of good, cheap defenders out there. So who are we targeting? Well, I posted... I was going to say on Twitter. I posted on Blue Sky. Yeah, you can now find me on Blue Sky. I've been on for a couple of days now. And I've started posting on their lots. It's brilliant. It's a great FPL community building. The big chances conceded. Now, I got this from Fantasy Football Scout. Scout is a brilliant resource for all the numbers. And there's a link in the description. You guys know I'm affiliated with Scout. I have been for years. The members area showed me. I was spending some time in there looking at like the best defences. Sure, you can go by goals conceded or clean sheets or XGC. I was like, who is conceding the big chances? And I was really surprised to see Man City aren't in the top 8. Like Man City are like 10th or 11th. They're conceding loads of big chances. The best defences so far have been Forest and Fulham. And these guys have 4.5 million defenders. The problem with Forest is their fixtures turn. Fulham's fixtures are all right. But I was encouraged to see Newcastle have conceded fewer big chances than the likes of Chelsea and Man City. Now, Newcastle have a player I really like in defence, and I think Lewis Hall might be the best budget defender to buy. If you can spend like 4.7, 4.8, you can get to an 8 Nori or a Dean. But I've got like 10.2 million, I think it is, to spend on a defender and a forward if I'm going to get Bruno to Salah in a couple of weeks. Remember the plan with free transfers. Now, if I'm doing that, I need to spend like 4.5 million or less on a defender. I like Kirkes of Bournemouth. I like Colwill of Chelsea. I don't mind the Brighton guys. You could go Van Heck. But Bournemouth and Brighton don't feature in this list. Newcastle do. And Newcastle have got the good fixtures. What's really important for me, though, let me just skip on to a little spreadsheet I did earlier. I always do stuff like this. I looked at my current 3 defenders that are starting for me. Mykolenko, Gabriel, and Rico Lewis. And I was like, okay... Where are their really tough fixtures that I ideally don't want to play them in? Let's mark them in red. Mykolenko, 15, 16, 17 and 18, has Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and City rank. Now, you could sell him, and maybe I will, but if I don't sell him because I've got other fires, I need a defender that can cover Mykolenko. So from all the 4.5 defenders, yes, I'm looking for good fixtures overall in December, but I'm also looking for good fixtures in 15, 16, 17 and 18. Well, Lewis Hall absolutely has that. He plays Brentford, Leicester, Ipswich and Villa. I'm very happy and comfortable starting Lewis Hall in those 4 fixtures. So I think Lewis Hall will be my defender in. And this little spreadsheet just helped me develop that. And when you've got so many good 4.5 million options or good options in any position at any time, look at the rotating patterns, especially with defenders. When you're buying a 3rd or 4th defender, these guys aren't going to start every week. So how they will complement your other defenders really, really matters. And I think sometimes we forget to do that and spend that time and energy. So make sure we're doing that. Also, guys, make sure we're hitting those buttons. If you fancy subscribing to this channel, that would mean a lot. And of course, if you want to hit the like button, that helps the algorithm too. But do drop a comment. As I said, I'm going to make a habit of replying to every comment on this video. I'm spending a bit less time on Twitter, as you may have noted. So where do we go to next? We've spoken about defender. We need to now... So let's look at that bus team with Lewis Hall in, shall we? Let's assume Trent goes. Lewis Hall comes in. Got loads of money in the bank now. But I still need more money in the bank to get to Salah in a couple of weeks. So I think at some point very soon, Solanke is going to come out, right? I could go Solanke to João Pedro this week and not go Lewis Hall. I think I'll end up going Hall. But it's João Pedro I want. Now, in the forward option under, say, 5.6, 5.7 million, there are a few good options, like some might argue Vardy, Liam Delap. Delap has some good fixtures coming up for Ipswich. I think João Pedro is the best option, though. And the reason I like João Pedro is he is the main man of a good functioning attack. Herzler has spoken about João Pedro and his importance for the team. We've seen at the start of the season, he's often a 90-minute man. And he's been brilliant playing in the number 10. Now, Jorginho Ruttner has been playing that number 10 role. In João Pedro's absence, he's been playing it well. Some might worry about rotation. I would say he'll find a way of squeezing both in, Rutter on the right or Rutter as the number 9 or whatever, or Rutter as at first sub. But João Pedro's minutes should be secure. I'm not 100% on that. And I think game week, I think the visit this week will help us. Let's see what in game week 12, does João Pedro get the start? If he does and plays well, I'm confident from 13 onwards. And the entry point from 13 would be really nice for Brighton. I mean, look, the fixtures are good for Brighton in general, but when we look at their fixtures coming up, an entry point this week is fine. It's not optimal because it's Bournemouth away, but then it gets really good. I could buy him ahead of 13 where he has Southampton at home. That's a great fixture. Then he has Fulham away, Leicester away, Palace at home, which is a derby, West Ham away, Brentford at home. That's all the way up to the 27th of December. The fixtures are great for Brighton. And João Pedro is so cheap. 5.4 million. That gives me more than enough money as sticking to the plan to make sure I can get to Mo Salah ahead of 13. So when we look at my forward plans, this is what I'm thinking of doing. Again, this was posted on Blue Sky. My plan, I think, is game week 12, Trent to Hull. Game week 13, Solanke to probably João Pedro, but I'm not ruling out a Strand Larsen or a Delap. And then game week 14, Bruno to Salah. Now, this plan could, of course, change. Bruno might smash it in the next two. It doesn't matter who United are playing. They're beating teams 5-0 and Bruno has to stay in my team. And I have to think of an alternative route to Salah. But as things stand, I think this is the plan. It leaves me then with 3 premiums for the festive period. Palmer, Haaland, and Salah. Now let's go back to that chart that I showed you earlier on with the festive fixture run of the premiums. And I think when we see this, what's your long-term view? My long-term view is Salah, Haaland, and Palmer are all needed because the fixtures are kind. They're the main men for their teams, and when we get to these busy runs, we want 90-minute men that don't get injured much, that are always being picked for their team. Now, Palmer, without playing the midweeks, is a shoo-in. We know that. And Salah and Haaland, we know their managers will... We know that they're fitness monsters. They're always on the pitch. They rarely come off at 75, 80, even when they're winning. And I just feel like these 3 are way more reliable than, say, a Saka, who's 1, had his injury problems, and 2, got a ton of games. Like, he doesn't have any midweek rest. Same as Salah. Bruno will play all the minutes too. You might see some rotation at Spurs. But forget even minutes. Who are the best picks in terms of going to get me the most points? Salah, Haaland, Palmer. And if you can get to that team by 14, 15, which I now can, I think you'll be very, very happy. Now, it's been long-term pain, short to medium-term pain, hopefully, but it's felt long-term with Mo Salah. And I do think when we look at captaincy this week, he is the optimal captain. So let's go to captaincy. I put a poll out on Twitter. This was before I had a Blue Sky account. I am still tweeting, of course I am. I'm doing both. You can't do polls on Blue Sky at the moment. And I did this on earlier in the week. Game week 12 captaincy poll. Salah 60%, Palmer 23. Sorry, Haaland 23, Palmer 11, Bruno 7. If you don't own Mo Salah, it's going to be a very, very, very scary week. Yeah, I'm bricking it. Because I do think he's the best captaincy option in 12. I can't get to him and I won't be getting to him, and I've made my bed there. I do think there's a good opportunity with Haaland though. Could this be the week Haaland actually outscores Salah? You wouldn't put it against him. He scored a hat-trick the other day for Norway. He's scoring goals for fun for Norway. He has been getting the chances at Man City. Like, we speak about, oh, terrible, we're going to sell him, lack of points. The XG has all been there for Haaland for a very long time. He's still getting the chances. Even without Rodri and De Bruyne, they've been producing for him. They're functioning fine in attack. They've been terrible defensively. But Haaland's still getting the chances. At some point, he's going to start performing to sort of par because he's underperforming at the moment. And he overperformed at the start of the season. I need to pray that Salah has an off day, that Southampton actually cause Liverpool problems. I can't really see that. But I would take 8 points for Mo Salah right now. I think there's a very good chance he hits double digits. Please don't hit double digits. And if you do, let Haaland for once outscore you, because it's been painful the last few weeks. I've been captaining Haaland. And of course, when you're going against the obvious captain in Salah, it's okay if you own him, But if you don't own him and you're not captaining him, obviously, you really lose out. So the last few weeks, I've been getting grey arrows and I've had really good buys. I've bought in Bruno Fernandes and Cunha. But the fact that my captain didn't hit, I went Solanke and everyone else went Salah, it really is going to cost you. So this has to be the week, hopefully things turn around. Do I think I'll go Haaland? I'd say I'm 65% likely to go Haaland and 35% likely to go Palmer. I'm not going Bruno. I just don't want to back against... New manager Mounts is great and owning Bruno will be great. But Ipswich at home I think aren't bad. And I just have to question it's United still who have been flaky. Palmer versus Leicester gives us a good opportunity as well. And there is a chance I go there. They're the early kick-off. That shouldn't really matter. Maybe it does to some. Leicester at home will come and play a little bit. They'll do less bus parking at home than they would away. That is good for Palmer. We want it to be more and more open. Palmer can be a flat-track bully. We've seen against newly promoted teams, especially last season, Palmer against the likes of Burnley and Luton scoring big FPL points. Can he do it against Leicester? I think he can. Will I captain him or do I feel like I trust Haaland a little bit more given the fact he's playing at home? The home advantage for Haaland is big. We also don't know about the Spurs' defensive issues. And I think I'll be waiting on Friday press conferences to know more about Van der Ven and Romero. But if we see Dragerson and Ben Davis at left back, or even centre back, if we see Dragerson and Ben Davis starting, I'm like, Haaland have got to go there. They're without Bentancur as well, remember, who's been a key cog in their machine in the last few months. I think there's a very good chance to go Haaland. And I think I can be slightly optimistic that maybe there's an opportunity there that he does outscore Mo Salah. I'm not saying Mo Salah's not going to produce points. I think he will. But Haaland could go and get a brace very, very comfortably. So that's where I'm at, I think, with captaincy. I've given my 2 pence worth, of course, with transfers. I'm likely to go Lewis Hall. I'm likely to go João Pedro next week. Of course, those plans aren't fixed until we hear the press conference news. I did wonder if there was an outside chance I have to back a Liverpool attacker knowing I don't have Mo Salah. Could I go Solanke to Darwin or Gakpo? Well, I guess I could, but it feels very short-term punty, and I think I just have to take one on the chin this week. And I think I'm willing to probably do that. If you've enjoyed the show, guys, do let me know in the comments. Do subscribe on your way out. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back with another Sunday morning review stream. If you haven't caught them, they are really good fun. I go through all the Saturday games in detail with loads of visual stuff. Come and join me for a live on Sunday morning. I'll give away some free channel memberships as well. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye.